Hello. What's up, guys? One of the things that holds back most guitar players, beginner and intermediate, is the ability to understand and change keys. Even the idea of changing a key for a lot of people is very scary, and I totally relate. I remember starting to play this instrument, trying to understand what the hell is going on there, and being extremely confused about how, like my daughter, very confused and very alarmed about how to change keys and how to do that, what's going on there. So I have a very simple system, and if you see it and understand that, it will take you 2 minutes, you will not see the fretboard in the same way. Let's just dive in. Before I show you the system, I'm going to explain how I think about it. So when we have a key, when we have a scale, we have a center, for example, the note C, we have C major scale. Now, that means that all the notes, all the sounds go back to C. It's sort of like this ocean. We hear everything in relationship to the center, to that C. Now it's important because I'm going to show you position and fingerings, but I also want you to pay attention to how it sounds and how it feels, which again is a big deal with music. Music is the art of listening, so we want to listen. All right, we understand that C is the center and we feel that. Now, on a technical level, we have only 3 options. If I have the note C, it's something I was just talking about with a good buddy of mine, Alon El-Bagli, an amazing guitar player. And there are only 3 options. Only 3 options to play this scale, this position. I can go back, so I can start with my 4th finger, for example. That's a back position. And that's the sound of that position. Now we'll have a PDF with tab annotation for all this information on my Patreon. So this is the back position. We have this back, going back. Simple. Or I can be centered. So I'm just keeping my hand where it is. This is center position. For this position, I will start with my 2nd finger on the note C. 2nd finger. Again, back position, we'll start with the 4th finger. Middle or center position, we'll start with the 2nd finger. And front position, we'll go forward. Go to the front. So what we're seeing here is only 3 options. That's the beauty of this. Back, center, and front. Now in this way, we can cover the whole guitar in a very simple way from the 6th string and from the 5th string. Question. All right, so I'm kind of into this SG now. I'm really curious what you think. Here's a little clip of me playing some jazz on that. Tell me if this is something you dig. So if I do this same process from the 5th string on the key of C, I will start here just because I don't want to use open string at the moment. 4th finger, right? So this is back position, C major. Center position with the 2nd finger. And forward position, sliding. Now, of course, there are a lot of options for fingerings, and I'm cool with that. But what is important for me right now is seeing the note C from the 6th string and from the 5th string and seeing the positions around it. It's a pretty simple system. Again, we have 5 positions all together that we're utilizing at this moment. Back, center, and forward. This is 3, and these 3 again, back, center, and forward. But there is overlap between the positions. That's why I'm saying we have 5, actually. So again, I'm going to do it one more time in the key of C, so it's really clear before I show you how to shift keys. Now, the process of shifting keys is important because we are learning the notes around the fretboard. We don't want to play the same key always. We want to hear the sounds, we want to explore, and we want to understand the relationships in different keys. So there is intellectual kind of element to understanding, but also different keys sounds different. This chord on the guitar lays down a certain way because of the register. A flat, for example, is one of my favorite keys because you can still go to the 6 with that F minor. And there is a certain color, a certain sound that I'm getting when I'm playing the key of A flat versus the key of C major. Not better or worse, not great and disastrous, just different color, different timbre. And I think with music, it's all about feelings, about colors, and about how we perceive the sound. So the more flexible we are, the more we understand the system, the more free we are. And I want to expand your freedom with very, very little time. So again, the basic system is this. From the 6th string, we're using our 4th finger. This is the fingering. This is the back position. And we have center position, starting with the 2nd finger. This position that you probably, good chance that you've played it before. And then the front position, I'm sliding here, and I'm going to this position here. Again, when I'm playing these notes, I am still aware of the center tone of the key. If this is helpful, please drop a comment, smash, click the like button. Thanks. Of this do. I'm trying to connect emotionally with the sounds, even when I'm playing fingerings and even when I'm just playing quote unquote a position. It's all about music. The faster I am understanding and feeling these sounds against the center, the faster I am to understand music better. Okay, so this is from the 6th string. Now, let's do this experiment. We're taking these 3 positions, and I'm going to ask you to play the key of A flat major. Now, first of all, when I ask you to play that key, you need to find the note A flat. Let's say you do not know where the note A flat is. Totally fine. Again, I'm a big fan of logic and understanding versus just memorization. So for me, I know that this is the note E. This is a given for me. So then I know between E and F, and between E and F, I have a half step. Between F and G, there's a whole step. And then between G and A, there's a whole step. So A flat would be half step below. Flat is half step below the note A. So this is A flat. Is it also G sharp? Yeah, the note G sharp and note A flat are the same note, literally. So I'm going to refer to this as a note A flat. And then from this note, I can build these 3 options. I can have the back position the same as C. So this would be this position. I'll have to use an open string here, Lisa. And then I'll use the center position from the 2nd finger. And then I'll use the front position. Now, the more we are comfortable with the visual as well as the sound color of these positions in the key of C, the easier it will be to shift them. Now, when I'm playing this, am I thinking C major? No, I am thinking A flat. But it took me some time to understand the sounds in C major, to feel the fingerings and also understand the relationships. Once C major, those back, center, and front position were clear, it was easier to shift. In the beginning, I remember when I was, in middle school and I started trying to shift keys, I was like, okay, this is the fingering in C. Let me see if this is the correct one when I shift. And I didn't understand the relationships. Once I start understanding and hearing the relationship, things starting to be way, way easier and way, way simpler. When I'm playing this position, I'm seeing the note A flat, but I'm also hearing this. I'm trying to hear La bemol. If I'm making a mistake, it's not a problem. This is the learning process. We're not trying to nail everything. This is why we're practicing and working on music. We're trying to understand the relationships. Now, the same way, in the same manner that we just did A flat, I can do the same thing in the key, on the 5th string, right? So we talked about the 5th string being the same way, back, center, and front. So I can find the note A flat here. So I know this is A. So I also know that this is A because this is a 12th fret, so it's the same notes as the open strings, yeah. And then from A, I go half step lower, I find the note A flat. I'll start with the back position. When I'm playing this, again, I'm taking my time and I am thinking about the notes. So I really think la, si, mol, do, re, mol, mi, mol, fa, sol, la, mol, etc., etc. Do you have to say solfege? No. Can you say letters? For sure. Do you have to always know where you are? That's a good thing to be able to do. The more comfortable and the faster I know this note is E flat, I can use it and utilize it in different contexts and hear it in different relationships. So again, it's a process, but I'm saying let's nail the visual aspect of back position, center position, which would be this one starting from the second finger, which you might know as well. This is kind of like a classic one that people learn pretty early usually. Again, that C position here, and then the front position going forward. Now, this idea of seeing back, center, and front is very useful because you're centered in the key. You see the note and you can shift between keys. Now, once you start being comfortable and you work on a new key, it is really, really helpful to try and start shifting between the centers. For example, if I have the C major scale here, let's say I have this position that you probably know, and if not, again, PDF and notation on Patreon, this position, this kind of first position, if you like, of C major, I can shift between that to A flat. How do I do that? Well, I take my A flat here and I will use the front position. Now, because I played it a lot and I'm aware of the notes, I can start seeing C major. And once I shift to A flat, I can see both the fingerings and also know the notes here. So I can say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and next note would be in the key of A flat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and back. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. What I'm doing here is shifting between the key of C major to the key of A flat major every bar basically. So I'm playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So basically one bar of 8 notes playing C major, and then I'm continuing in the same direction to A flat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and shifting back to C. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and... Is this easy? No, because you've never done it. Is this easy once you see the fingerings, once you hear the center? Yes, especially once you spend some time and understand the notes and how they sound like in the key, and then understand, oh, when I shift here, wow, that's beautiful. I can get this D flat here to the E flat, and you can hear how the center from C major goes to A flat. This is some work, and this will help you see the fingerboard. This will help you unlock what's happening here. And again, in reality, the first step is understanding the 3 positions, back, center, and front, from the 6th string and from the 5th string, trying to see it very clearly in the key of C, and then little by little moving into a new key. Once that starts to be comfortable, the next step, like we just did, is basically trying to mix those. So I'm trying to see, oh, I'm in the key of C, and then I'm shifting to A flat, but I'm staying in this area. I'm trying to keep the line moving as if I'm improvising. Right now it's still an exercise, but once that's comfortable, I will create a loop. For example, 4 bars of C, 4 bars of A flat, and then I will move between those 2 centers to create some melodies. Thank you so much for hanging out. If that's helpful, please let me know, drop a comment, share it to a friend. I'll see you very soon. Peace out. Very exciting news. I'm going to release an album in August, but if you want to grab the vinyl before it's even out, you can check it here, and I hope you dig it. Thank you.